Hey Snap Flash fam! The legal drama between CEDA and anti-corruption whistleblower Setlhomo Tshwanelang just hit a major twist. In a bold court ruling, Tshwanelang walked away with a victory, but the saga is far from over. Wondering what this means for CEDA, the whistleblowers' fight against corruption, and why this case has all of Botswana talking? Stick around, we've got all the details. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for the latest updates on the stories shaping Botswana. In a landmark decision, the High Court dismissed CEDA's defamation case against whistleblower Setlhomo Tshwanelang, awarding costs against the state-owned entity. Judge Michael Leburu ruled that Tshwanelang's statements were in the public interest, upholding his right to free speech while reinforcing the importance of transparency. Bakotelo Mipi, Tshwanelang's lawyer, praised the judgment, stating, "This ruling ensures that public interest remains protected, even when facing powerful institutions like CEDA."
About freedom of expression, especially in a democratic society. This is not to say we had an unfettered and blanket win. The one thing that we got guidance from the court for, which was really a very important issue for me and I guess for the public, can you defame a state-owned entity? And the court's approach in the judgment was that you can't. I mean, you can defame. They have a right to a good name. They have a right to a good name and they can be defamed. So that essentially gives us guidance going forward. Ghana judgments from court don't necessarily mean you win or lose. Later on, we need to go back to the drawing board and reflect on the approach going forward. How exactly is it that we can critique? What can we say and what can we not say? And the overall ruling of the court was that the statements are in the public interest. The public is entitled to receive the statements and formulate an opinion, which is something that we've been amplifying throughout the proceedings. So we've won in that sense, won in the sense of the dismissal of the application, but also won in the sense of guidance going forward, especially for what is to follow in this term of a new era, a new government. There's certainly a lot of enlightenment that the public is entitled to, and Lona as the fourth estate are entitled to lead the charge without worrying about, is this going to be defamatory? Am I going to have to pay damages for this? I know there's several more to come. We're ready to deal with that, but I can assure you we're also introspecting to try and ensure that we put information in the public interest, in the public domain, without unnecessarily violating rights that people have to a good name, to their dignity, or to their privacy. That is something that we stand to be guided on, and we've been guided by the court. But overall, we're delighted for the win. We're very pleased.
This was just the dismissal of the ruling aside and the contempt. Are you guys going to proceed to the trial court?
Well, they haven't instituted any claim for trial. They haven't issued any summons for defamation or any other claim. So this is it. This is the end of it. If they want to bring forth other proceedings, then, like I said last time, we'll be waiting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
So other cases, would you like to touch on?
Well, I'll be very confined to comment on the other cases. What I can say is we've been able to take instructions. We're in the process of filing the necessary court process in response, or the letters that answer to that, the demand letters that have been put forward. I can't say much because they're at a very nascent stage, and in issues such as defamation, where you go by way of action or summons, it might be the next 5 years ongoing. So there's a lot more to it at this stage. I mean, there's not enough for me to really comment on. Safe to say, with the guidance of the judgment that we got today, we already know what it is that we can say and the veracity of such statements and how harmful they can be to other people. So preliminarily looking at the claims that have been made, I think one is for like 7 million, the other for 500,000, some for 3 million. That's just very ridiculous, not in this jurisdiction. So we're also not worried at all. But of course, look, an attorney's job is not to encourage fighting and unnecessary discourse. It's just to bring parties as close to each other as they can be. So in the process of defending our client, we're not just going to throw away the process of settlement, because at the end of the day, the main objective for everyone who's here is to ensure that the resources of the country are preserved where anyone accused of corruption feels or opines that they are not guilty of such corruption, they can always come out and clarify, not to gag someone making an opinion on such issues. Yeah.
CEDA's legal representative, Njirimanda Bodi of Mbewe Legal Practice, acknowledged the ruling, stating their intention to comply.
Court makes, we will comply with it, and we stick to that. And so in a democracy, the rule of law is very important. It protects the rights of citizens, whether you're an individual or a company. And so for me, as a lawyer, it is my duty to ensure that I represent my clients to the best of my ability. If I do not do that, then I go against democracy, and I go against my oath. And so, like I said, everyone has the right to legal representation, even including those who have been accused of serious offenses or atrocious offenses. They have a right to legal representation, and not just legal representation of their choice. So we should not shun anyone who actually appears before the court and seeks legal representation to say, you should not have a lawyer represent you. It is a constitutional right. So based on that, we are grateful. We came and we put up a good fight. Like I said, once you read the judgment, you will see. And we believe that the courts have spoken, and we shall duly do what the courts have said. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
However, this victory is only one chapter in Tshwanelang's ongoing battle, as several high-profile lawsuits remain unresolved. While this case ends in Tshwanelang's favor, he remains embroiled in several lawsuits. Among the accusers is CEDA CEO Thabo Taman, suing for 5 million pula over allegations of corruption. Taman has demanded the removal of social media posts, calling the claims baseless. Adding fuel to the fire, CEDA brand ambassador Sunny Sirit filed a 7 million pula defamation suit, while former sports minister Tumiso Ragari is suing for 500,000 pula over allegations tied to his election campaign. Tshwanelang, undeterred, claims these lawsuits are politically motivated and aimed at silencing his fight against corruption. Despite mounting legal pressures, Tshwanelang's campaign is gaining traction. Over 20,000 signatures have been collected demanding a forensic audit into CEDA's operations. Responding to public outcry, the Minister of Entrepreneurship has pledged to commission an audit, marking a small victory for transparency advocates.
Look, it's also a very controversial issue, in the sense that I'm very pleased at the Trade Minister's remarks. That's my personal view, because as you may have followed, we've had protests in the past, a lot of protests against gender-based violence, protests against unemployment, underemployment, but we've barely ever seen an instance where a forensic audit is sanctioned, especially within such limited time. So that is something that we can applaud and say, look, we are now seeing some form of a reaction, because what the Trade Minister is simply saying is, let us investigate, get our facts right, and then take action. I haven't really formed a view as to what should happen to the office bearers in the meantime, and I would rather not express such an opinion at the moment, but I would really like us all to afford the Trade Minister and the government at large the opportunity to address all our concerns. It's really very soon, it's too soon for us to be judging them to the extent or we discredit or discount their efforts. There is some plausible effort that we can see in trying to deal with issues like this and to address them, which is not quite common. So if we see it, we need to embrace it and afford them the necessary time and space to deal with the issues. The pedantism and the nitty-gritties of how it is done, yeah, we can have discourse on that, but at the end of the day, we've sent them there to make such decisions, and I guess we should just patiently wait.
The Tshwanelang has also called for financial support to fund his legal battles, raising 100,000 pula so far. They want to paralyze me financially, but I won't back down, Tshwanelang declared, promising daily revelations of alleged corruption. Tshwanelang claims his findings extend beyond CEDA, implicating other parastatals like Botswana BPC and UB in corruption scandals. He has filed formal complaints with the Directorate on Corruption and Economic Crime, intensifying scrutiny on Botswana's institutions. As this legal saga unfolds, Tshwanelang's crusade against corruption highlights a growing demand for accountability in Botswana. While his fight has sparked significant debate, it also underscores the delicate balance between free speech and institutional integrity. What's next in this high-stakes showdown? Stay tuned for more updates as Snapflash follows this gripping story. Like, share, and subscribe to keep questioning and stay informed. That's it for now, Snapflash fam. Keep those comments coming. What do you think about today's ruling? Let's talk below.